Hello, good evening. I'm Cindy Sisloff. I'm president of Impact 100 Southern Indiana chapter. And welcome to everyone here in the room tonight and to the thousands of chapter members from Impact 100 from all over the world watching us live right now. So, yes, we're excited. We are extremely excited because tonight is a milestone moment. So not only are we having our annual awards ceremony here tonight, where we're going to award 2 transformational grants later in the evening. We are also honored to be hosting Impact 100's Global Day of Impact with our special guest speaker and founder of Impact 100, Wendy Steele. So yes, we're excited for that. Later to come on that. So as most of you know, Impact 100 was designed to inspire and to empower women to think of themselves as philanthropists. So Wendy and the chapters that are all around the world have shown us exactly what happens when women can unite with a purpose. They don't just give, they actually transform communities. And that's what we've seen happen. So why is Wendy, the founder, here with us tonight in Southern Indiana? More on that in a minute. First, let me tell you a little bit about our chapter. So in 2007, Hazel Bales and a group of women they founded the Women's Foundation of Southern Indiana. And they believed that the women in Clark and Floyd and Harrison counties had the power and the passion to shape their communities. So now fast forward about 10 years, and in 2016, they heard Wendy speak. And when they heard her message of the power of women giving as one woman, $1,000, one vote, and how together we can transform lives in ways that we simply can't do on our own. They knew that was the model they were looking for. So then in 2017, the Women's Foundation of Southern Indiana became Impact 100 Southern Indiana. And that year, 50 women came together, and those 50 women gave away $50,000, and Wendy Steele was there to celebrate. So with a band. And look where this vision has taken us. So over the past 8 years, we have awarded 9 grants, and tonight we're here to award 2 more additional transformational grants of $85,000 each to some wonderful local nonprofits are doing amazing work in their communities. So this is what collective giving looks like. This is what women's leadership looks like. This is what the power of women giving as one looks like right here in Southern Indiana. So now back to why is Wendy here tonight? Well, she was there for our first grant, so we wanted her to be here also because this year, and this is a major milestone for us tonight, with the $170,000 that we are giving away in just a little bit, and with the incredible women who over the last 8 years have given also, we can now say that Impact Southern Indiana has surpassed the $1 million giving total. So, very exciting. It's what a moment, what an impact. Together we've actually raised $1,039,000, and it's really all because of you all. So I want to say thank you to every single woman in this room. Thank you for giving. Thank you for joining. Thank you for opening your homes for events, opening your yachts for events, all the wonderful places that we've had to meet new people. So, even if you just simply believed in the power of women giving as one, thank you for being here for that. It's an incredible milestone for all of us, and I want to say thank you. Okay, so now I have the exciting honor to introduce one of our last year's grant winners. So Tracy Patton is the founder of Reach Food Program for Kids and was one of our grant winners last year. She's going to tell us what's happened in the last year since we've seen her. Come on up, Tracy. Let's give her a round of applause.
She said I'm the founder of something, but I really wasn't looking for anything. I think it found me. I had no idea that the Reach Food Program for Kids would turn into a nonprofit organization. That was not my goal. I was just living life as a somewhat normal person. And you can laugh at that because somewhat normal is somewhat normal, right? And all of a sudden, I suffered a ruptured brain aneurysm. Now, if you know anything about those, most people don't live through them. And in fact, they told my family, please tell her goodbye because she will not be here by morning. Well, lucky enough, I don't sleep much. So I woke up. And I woke up and said, you know what? There's more to life than just being a somewhat normal person going through the motions of life. And if you're like me, days and weeks and years go by and you wonder, what have I done? Well, I decided I was going to do something. If I had a second chance of life, I was going to make the world a better place to live in. So I started looking for those random acts of kindness that we all look for. And I just started trying to make the world a better place. Now, one of those acts of kindness just happened to be feeding one child 10 years ago. But it turned out that it was much more than a random act of kindness. It was a call of action. And I'm here to tell you that when you pick up your nephew from an elementary school and you see children in your own hometown not having food in their home, it turns into more than an act of kindness. It turns into a call of action. And we're all called to act because anytime we see anyone in our own community suffering from anything, we need to act. And so that's what I did. And I fed one child. And it just so happens that 200 more people joined me in that call of action. And although I fed one child 10 years ago, this past year, our volunteers delivered food and fed in 1 year over 10,000 children. But we couldn't keep up with that. Children were coming in faster than we could feed them. And as you know, this past week, it's even gotten faster. We had 750 new children come into our program in the last 4 days. So we cannot keep up with that until we met Impact 100. We stood in front of you a year ago today, and I had a dream in my head that I thought would never come true. But I stood here in this same spot a year ago today in a room full of strangers. And I said to you, I have a dream that parents with hungry children should have access to food just as easily as I do when I push a button to say I need food from Uber Eats or DoorDash or Walmart. And I went to software developers and I said, I want this to happen for hungry children. They searched the country and there was nothing that had ever been done for food pantries or hungry children such as this. So I was more determined than ever to make sure that my dream became a reality. There was just one problem. It cost a whole lot of money to do that. A whole lot of money to make sure that our children and our families could have access to food that quick. And to make sure that 200 volunteers could deliver food as quickly as I wanted it delivered. So I stood in front of you and I said to you, do you believe in this? Do you believe something like this could be done? Because if you do, it's going to be the first time it's ever been done. Software developers across the country looked and they found nothing like this for hungry children. And you believed in that. And not only did you believe in that, you made our dream come true. We had about 20 people here that night. We were all sitting over in this area. And when you announced that we were one of the recipients of this grant, and the minute you said, reach, we stood up and we screamed and we hollered like we had won the lottery, because you know what? We had. We had won the lottery that night. There's no way in the world we could have ever came up with the money to fund a software program like you gave us. Our lives are forever changed. Forever changed. And not just my own life, but the organization's life and children's lives for decades to come. Your impact is not just a grant. It opens doors for people that you never even see. And it's just not about a grant. It's about the lives you are changing day after day after day. And so with a grant that we were given, oh my goodness, our lives were turned upside down. And we've never been so happy to be upside down. As one of your recipients of the grant last year, I cannot begin to tell you the impact you have made on all of us. We would be here all night. Unfortunately, we live in a world where we tear people down to get ahead. And we knock people over in order to be first. And we allow our differences to separate us. But not at Impact 100. Not at Impact 100. In fact, we are women who build each other up. We are women who treat each other as equals. We are women who come together to change the world. And I tell you right now, each and every one of you have done that. And you will continue to do that for years to come if we stick together and we decide that we are going to change the world. And not only change the world, but leave the world a better place when we leave this place. Women of Impact 100, you are doing just that. You are changing lives, you are changing your local communities, and you are changing the world. We have hit a huge milestone here tonight, and we have hit several milestones throughout the journey of Impact 100. However, we do not and cannot stop now. In fact, we need to gather together stronger than ever so that we can continue to meet the next milestone. And we can continue to reach the next milestone, and we can continue to blow across the next milestone until we continue to fight hunger issues, social issues, addiction issues, and so much more. Together we can do this. Together we can change the community, and we can change the world. Let's go.
Hey, I'm ready to get my checkbook out. Good job, Tracy. And now I have the honor of introducing Wendy Steele. And Wendy is the founder of Impact 100. She was the 2024 USA Today's Woman of the Year. Yes. And also, I know, that's amazing. And also the Forbes 50 over 50 honoree for her leadership in philanthropies. And the reason that thousands of women across the globe, and have funded millions and millions of dollars to organizations in their communities. Wendy dreamt it, she built it, and then she shared her model with the world. So please join me in welcoming the visionary who brought us all here tonight, our founder, our champion, Wendy Steele.
Oh my word. Thank you. Thank you. It is amazing to be here. And I'm not really sure how I can follow Tracy because I was welling up with tears. You know, that's the story right there. That's the power of what one person can do when she decides that she needs to do something, that she can no longer look on the sidelines and hope that someone else is going to pick up this cause. And so as I sat listening to her and drinking my hot water so that I would not cry, I was crying. And so if you hear me sniffle, we're going to blame the internet because I'm sure it's just the live stream's fault. Oh, my word. Welcome to the 5th annual Global Day of Impact. I am Wendy Steele, the founder and chief impact officer for Impact 100 Global, and I am so happy to be with you. Every November, we celebrate the Global Day of Impact. It is a day that is designed for you. It's designed for the Impact 100 community. We always host in partnership with a local chapter. And having been here before and now here today to meet your grantees, to spend time with your leadership, y'all are so lucky. And this community is incredibly beautiful. So I'm thrilled to be here. We always host the Global Day of Impact with a local chapter, and that allows the entire community to see what's happening right here in Southern Indiana. We are here to spotlight that huge milestone. In a few minutes, right here, we will award the millionth dollar of aid, of grants, of investment made right here in Southern Indiana to the nonprofit community so that it will thrive. It's a huge milestone, $1 million. It's an incredible investment. It is the power of one. Every single dollar of that million, it traces back to a choice. The power of one person choosing to step forward again and again. So many people in this community made this milestone possible. And every single member of the community should be celebrating it with great joy and pride. Because let's be clear about that $1 million milestone. It isn't the result of a few people donating large sums of money. That $1 million is the sum of 8 years, hundreds of $1,000 choices, countless volunteer hours, committees that read applications late into the night, volunteers stepping up to help where they can, and leaders who devoted their hearts, their minds, and their resources to build and grow this philanthropic movement. When I think about that generosity, I think about how all movements begin. One person, like Tracy, like others in this room and beyond, who said, I can't live with the status quo. It's time for me to act. It's time for me to change the world. Here in Southern Indiana, it all began with a remarkable trailblazer named Hazel Bales. Now, Hazel Bales was a leader from the start and utterly remarkable. She began breaking glass ceilings with her persistence, her determination, and her vision. In the 1940s, after working for 2 years at a local Firestone tire dealership, making $25 a week, she saw an opportunity to buy that shop, to buy that Firestone. And in doing so, she became the first woman ever to own a Firestone tire dealership. A title that she held alone for many years. It took a while for other women to realize that seeing her meant they might follow. But she thrived. She was a great business person. She ran it well, expanded it to several locations. She and her husband went on to build also a very successful car dealership. But when Hazel turned her attention to philanthropy, she brought along several local women and formed the Women's Foundation of Southern Indiana that you've already heard about, which in turn has become Impact 100 Southern Indiana back in 2017. Trailblazing can be exhausting, it can be lonely, and it can be hard. There are so many people on the sidelines with only discouraging words to share. Yet, one thing pioneers have in common is the ability to block out the noise of the naysayers and move ahead to prove them wrong. And that's exactly what Hazel did. Just a few days ago, we hosted a global conference in Miramar Beach, Florida. We had a number of remarkable, inspiring speakers, one of whom was Major General Jeannie Leavitt, retired. Now, Jeannie's story is the very definition of persistence meeting purpose. You see, she dreamed of flying fighter planes, and for years, the answer she got was no. Not once, not twice, but again and again and again. She faced policy, prejudice, and doubt. She faced people who tried to tell her what she could not be, but she stayed focused. She did the work. She met the standards, often at the top of her class, and refused to accept the limits that others placed on her. And when the doors opened, she walked through them, her eyes forward, her hands steady on the controls, and she took us all to a new reality. Jeannie's first flights were proof for other women that the cockpit could be theirs too. Each mission she flew loosened the language of impossible. When Jeannie Leavitt became the first woman to ever fly a fighter plane for the United States Air Force, she showed what was possible. She understood what it meant to be a leader, to not only continuing to open doors, because when you're the trailblazer, it's not the first door you open, it's every door after that. She stayed focused, and she started to earn promotions all the way through. And each promotion that she got became permission for the next woman. That's the heroic arc of a trailblazer, to be the first who proves the case, and then to leave the runway cleared for every woman who follows. Because for so many people, we simply cannot be what we cannot see. Trailblazers show us the way. They light the path, and they keep it lit until the path becomes so wide that nothing and no one can block it. I want you to hold that idea in your heart for a moment, because every single Impact 100 founder is doing something very much like what Jeannie and Hazel did. Trailblazers seem to share the same moral DNA. A founder decides that her town, her neighborhood, her friends, her circle can do better. She imagines a different way, Women pooling gifts, taking responsibility to learn about community needs, and voting together to award a transformational grant. They master new skills as they learn nonprofit budgets, they recruit new members, and they hold people through the hardest times when burnout meets discouragement. They steady the ship until it can float on its own. They recruit members. That's courageous leadership, quiet, tenacious, practical, but utterly brave. When I designed the Impact 100 model in 2001, I myself had never given $1,000 to a single charity, not once. The number felt really big to me and really important. I'd never done it, and yet it sounded surprisingly exciting, even fun, and I was eager to do it. I proposed the Impact 100 model anyway. I asked women to gather, to each give $1,000, funding grants of at least $100,000 to local nonprofits that are solving the local community's most pressing problems. That was Cincinnati, Ohio in 2001. A single chapter, and then another, and then another. From there, year after year, the model proved itself. The hesitation that first showed up in my own bank account turned into a habit for thousands of women. For many, joining the local chapter was their first time making a gift of that size. In fact, on average, 50% of the women who join an Impact 100 chapter, wherever they are, have never given $1,000 to one nonprofit before joining Impact. 50%. What happens then is the pie of philanthropic giving in a local community that has been created by women and men who were comfortable giving back, writing checks, big and small. When Impact 100 comes to town, it doesn't try to divide that pie of philanthropic investment to allow a slice for ourselves. We don't do that. What we do instead is we make the pie bigger. Because for most philanthropists who are already giving other places, they add Impact 100 to their portfolio. And for the 50% of women who have never given before, it's life-changing. Imagine that with each membership, it becomes an act of confidence, an invitation to step into a different kind of giving. Membership changes how women imagine their own capacity and their role in civic life. One small act, a single gift, becomes a new identity for many. I am someone who gives strategically, they might say. I am a philanthropist. I am a part of the solution. And they are. That identity then seeds leadership, mentorship, and a louder civic voice. Together, we have built a movement that grows every single year, regardless of markets, recessions, and storms of any kind. That consistency is not accidental. It's the product of steady women committed to making local systems a little bit better every single day. From the earliest chapters, which were Cincinnati, Pensacola, and Austin, to new founders across towns and cities, we've seen this pattern. A founder steps forward. The first meeting happens. The membership grows. Volunteers show up. Grant committees get to work. Nonprofits get funded and neighborhoods change. I've spent the last 2 decades watching one powerful idea do something extraordinary. When one woman gives one gift, one woman shows up to a meeting. One woman raises her hand and says, "I'll help." Alone, these acts are small, but together they move mountains. When I was first building Impact 100, one lesson came very quickly. If one person steps forward with a strong vision and a clear path, it becomes safe, even inevitable for many others to follow. Trailblazers like Jeannie Levitt and Hazel Bales are clear evidence that women who are willing to step forward for what they believe in will change the arc of entire fields by doing what's needed to be done long before anyone believed it could be done. These women don't wait for permission. They start with a single act, and then they build the systems, the cultures, and the institutions that make further change inevitable. One volunteer's first meeting sparks a year of service. One leader's clarity turns into training that multiplies and stabilizes a shelter. Today, I invite you all to be that one, the first brick in the foundation, the first light on the path. Because when one person steps forward here in this moment, we don't walk alone. We make it easier for the next person to step and the next until a whole community is walking together. Across the Impact 100 movement, we are stronger because Impact 100 Global has invested in the work behind the scenes. We've been doing it since the start of that first chapter in 2001. Every year, we add more resources. Every year, we add more support because women and men in Impact 100 chapters around the world deserve the support. The Impact 100 model is simple and powerful. Gather 100 women. They each donate $1,000. Give it all away in transformational grants and start all over again. But what any leader in this room or in this live stream can tell you, that although the Impact 100 is simple and powerful, executing it well is not easy. This year alone, we have launched a brand new website, which I have to say is gorgeous. It's also deep and wide with new resources, testimonials, list of chapters so that people can find the work that you're doing. We recently launched our best training ever. We call it Impact 100 Academy, and it's a series of 15 courses that combine visuals and audio and quizzes and significant lessons within each course for whichever role you may hold on the board or just for members who want to learn more about how the model works. In tandem with that, we launched community forums where chapters can swap their playbooks, their lessons, their questions, and their solutions. It's all brought together on something we call Global Connect, which is a dashboard and a digital hub for collaboration. Everything we do at Impact 100 Global is for you, for the chapters wherever you are. These systems may not make headlines, but they're the scaffolding that lets chapters launch faster, sustain longer, and grant smarter. All of these investments in people, programs, and systems make it easier for a founder to say, yes, I will do that. and to know someone will walk alongside her. They mean more leaders can be coached, more volunteers can be stewarded, and more chapters can be launched and lifted to greater heights with fidelity and care. And here's the measure of what those systems and that courage have made possible. The Impact 100 movement continues to grow. By the end of 2025, Impact 100 chapters will have collectively awarded more than $178 million through 80 chapters in 4 countries. That's the testimony to the power of one repeated, amplified, and multiplied concept that you all have brought to life. Think of the lives behind that figure. Safer shelters, after-school programs where children can learn to read, emergency services that stay open, arts programs that make neighborhoods livable. Each $100,000 grant is a strategic, life-changing infusion, just like Tracy explained, paid for by many first-time donors choosing to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So to every founder, every leader, every volunteer, every woman or man who ever raised their hand to make their first big gift, you are powerful, unsung trailblazers. You are rewriting civic engagement. Like Major Jeannie Levitt and Hazel Bales, you have stepped into roles that were once closed, and in doing so, you've created new possibilities for countless others. And to the women of Impact 100 Southern Indiana, thank you for showing us what's possible today. As you prepare to award your millionth dollar, you invited others to imagine the scale of what we can do when every woman steps forward. This chapter has grown membership almost 50% in 3 years. With 40 new members this year and a steady retention rate with more than 85% of members returning each year, that is the gold standard among Impact 100 chapters. Members who give 110%, which here they call Hazel giving, which of course honors Hazel Bales, has grown 30% in the last 3 years, showing that women don't just give, they also support the vital administrative work of the chapter. Their grants have more than tripled from the start, from $50,000 in 2017 to $170,000 in 2025. Every movement begins with one, but it doesn't end there. One becomes many because one person dares to act and then teaches another and another and another. That's how across the entire Impact 100 movement, we are stronger together.